Hello everyone, we are from Jakarta International University from accounting major. Today we would like to explain about the expenditure, production, and revenue cycle of PT INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR. So first of all, let me introduce ourselves. First of all, my name is Jocelle, and then there is Jovan, my friend. There's also Debi Setrida, and the last member is Yanti. And then let me continue to the abstract. So, PT INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR is one of the leading instant noodle and processed food companies in Indonesia. The company was founded in 1971. This factory has a market orientation where production is carried out according to the market demand. So therefore, we would like to find out how the expenditure cycle is, whether the shopping activities, production cycles, and income cycles of PT INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR. So it was found out that the shopping cycles of this company is by importing and uses the materials that is originated from Indonesia itself. So this is done to make it easier for the company to obtain the materials that is needed. And the raw materials is purchased with a large scale and handled well. And then they also use FIFO system to maintain the product quality, because quality is number one in this factory. And then in the production cycles, there are two stages that is used by this factory. The first is manufacture of instant noodles and packaging, and followed by packaging through two stages, primary and secondary. And then in the revenue cycle, PT INDOFOOD divides tasks for each department to be responsible for each production process. To maintain the income aspect, a control is also carried out by this factory through the organizational structure to separate their functions and their aims, so they have a respective duties and authorities for their activities. And then they also use internal audit that will be responsible for evaluating and effectiveness of the INDOFOOD's internal control system. And then I will continue to introduce our material. So what is the relation with accounting information system and PT CBP INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR? So you need to know what is accounting information system. So accounting information system plays an important role in the development process of this company. It records all their activities, whether it's shopping for raw materials, production activities, market activities, and the process of receiving their income, all with the help of accounting information systems. Each department also related their information using this accounting information system. So let's continue to the cycles of PT INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR. Please, I will let my friend to explain.
I will explain about the expenditure cycle of PT INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR Tbk. Information processing operations related to purchasing and paying for services, goods, and business activities that are performed repeatedly are referred to as the expenditure cycle. Supplier or vendors are the foremost external exchange, so that information about the need to purchase goods or materials from the revenue cycle, production cycle, and inventory control flows into the expenditure cycle. Expenditure record in the expense cycle will be included in financial statement and various management reports to make good decisions because the objectives of the expense cycle are minimizing total cost and maintaining inventory, supplies, and services. Activities in expenditure are some of the parts taken from the income cycle. The same in the case with PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur Tbk, which records the flow of expenditure in the process of purchasing raw materials, production processes, and marketing into a structured expenditure cycle according to the correct accounting information system so that data secure for each activities is maintained. The first is shopping cycle. In the shopping cycle, PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur Tbk uses several raw materials and supporting materials for the instant noodle production process for their company. And the first of shopping cycle is raw material. In the process of making instant noodle from PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk uses the main raw material, namely wheat flour. In obtaining raw materials for wheat flour and other auxiliary materials to make instant noodles, PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk obtained from domestic. So the company is not too difficult to able to obtain the raw material needed in the production process. And the second one is supporting and auxiliary material. Supporting material or auxiliary material are important condiments that are used as a complement in the production process of instant noodle so that later the noodles produced can be formed properly and also as a complement to the taste, texture, and elasticity of the noodle. Okay, in the production process of PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk, tapioca flour is the obtained from supplier in the Lampatar area. The delivery system depends on existing stock or depends on PPIC's request. Meanwhile, the seasoning oil for this instant noodle produce come from PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk Seasoning Division Semarang. And the third one, shopping cycle, is amount and provision of raw materials supporting raw materials. Basically, the amount and supply system of raw material at the company PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk is adjusted to the machine capacity and production capacity on a daily basis. And the fourth one is basic material handling. Basic material handling materials are generally supplied on a large scale or quantity. Apart from being a reserve, this is also useful for anticipating an unexpected increase in the price of raw materials in the future. Therefore, after receiving these materials by the company sent from suppliers, there must be a serious and intensive handling action to prevent the risk of damage to raw material both biologically. And the next part is choosing a raw material supplier. Document or form used by this company as promises and contract for payment or of product and contract once in the hands of suppliers are used as a tool to ask suppliers of the raw materials. When the purchase order is a commitment between the buyer and supplier. In this case, from PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur Tbk as the buyer for the purchase of goods at the predetermined price and certain goods. This is one of the charms of customers' trust over the uncertainty of the quality of the raw materials sources. Electronic Data Exchange or EDA used by most companies including PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk is very helpful for producers and distributors in supervising retail inventory to automatically replenish when inventory is at the reorder point. It can also reduce transportation costs. This is called vendor managed inventory. And the last but not least, approved supplier invoices, document that authorize payment to supplier including purchase orders, supplier invoices, and receiving reports are voucher packages. Payable invoices that have been invoiced and will be stored in an open invoice file. The method used in the non-voucher system, the voucher package and the non-voucher system are the different. And the last part is cash payment for raw material order. Paying supplier is the final expenditure cycle activities. And the first one is to make a payment transaction. The purchase invoice must be approved and accompanied by a receipt report and purchase order. And the second one is the original invoices is one of the conditions for making payment, and not photocopying is allowed. And the last one is package vouchers and invoices must be cancelled when the checks payment has been signed. And the last part and the next part is the production cycle will be explained with my friends.
Okay, thank you, Nova, from the explain the expenditure cycle from the PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur. And now I will explain about the production cycle in a PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur. In the first, the definition from the production cycle is a series of activities and business operation that are carried out repeatedly or can also be referred to as an information process related to the manufacture of product such as PT Indofood CBP SUKSES MAKMUR Tbk in the process of making instant noodle products. And accounting information system play a very important role in the instant noodle production cycle in this company. With an accounting information system, it will help produce accurate cost information and clear working time to be used as input or notes for manager from this company as a decision maker, making power in planning the manufacture of instant noodle product to be made, produce, how much the product costs, and how to plan. And the next, okay, in the production cycle, have three basic activities. The first is product design. Product design is the first stage the company does in the instant noodle production process. The activity of determining the shape of instant noodles that will be in accordance with the order and also having conditions that have been determined by the customer. For example, the quality of instant noodles, the amount of instant noodles, and can minimize the cost of producing the instant noodles. And the second activities is planning. In the production cycle activities, the planning stage has a very important role. Planning activities will take anticipatory step to be able to fulfill requests or orders from instant noodle in the short term, especially on requests or order that are sudden but do not interfere with the supply of raw materials in the warehouse. And the third activities is a production operation. And this third activities is the actually activity of the process of making instant noodle products by the company. And in this activity have a step by step to production process in instant noodle. Okay, the first is pouring raw materials into screw conveyor. Materials such as wheat flour and tapioca flour are poured into a screw conveyor machine, where the function of the screw conveyor machine is to sieve wheat flour and tapioca flour so that they are free from physical contaminants or gravel, lice, dirt, etc., and tapioca flour into the mixer machine. Okay, the next step is mixing. The second process in the mixing process is the mixing process. The process of mixing and stirring the basic ingredients or wheat flour with supporting material such as tapioca flour, alkaline water is carried out to produce a homogeneous dough with sufficient water content. Then after the dough is formed, it will be allowed to stand for 10 minutes so that the water content in the dough can be evenly distributed. And the third activities will be a roll setting and slitting, and the next is steaming and cutting and folding and frying, and the next is frying and cooler, and the last step is packaging. And this packaging goes through two stages. Namely, is the first is primary packaging is to use of plastic label, and the second is secondary packaging. And so, in the production cycle, all activities starting from the kneading raw materials, forming instant noodle from this company is PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur Tbk, and then stage for making spices, and finally the process or packaging stage are all discussed in this production cycle. Everything is recorded in the accounting information system there, so that all activities and transactions during the production process can be kept safe and their document or data are not missed by outside parties. And then for explanation from the production cycle, and next is the revenue cycle will be explained with my friends.
Okay, thank you, Jovan. The revenue cycle. What is the revenue cycle? The revenue cycle is revenue product procedure that start from credit authorization, sales activities, picking up goods, receiving goods, billings to receiving cash. This cycle includes a slightly different cycle according to the type of business, but the important elements is provide service and make full payment for the product. Okay, activity revenue cycle. The four basic business activities in the revenue cycle at the PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur Tbk are: first, instant noodle order acceptance; second, instant noodle delivery process; uh, third, collection activities in accounts receivable; and last, cash billing. Okay. Uh, First, instant noodle order acceptance. Here, the company's revenue cycle will start from receiving order from customer. The sales orders from customer. Second, instant noodle delivery process. Order collection and packing use a pickup car which will be print according to the seller's order entry and will trigger the instant noodle pickup and packaging process. Third, collection activities in accounts receivable. The basic activity of collection receivable that will be carried out in the billing process is in the form of a document or sales invoice that tells the customer how much money must be paid or repaid and where to send the payment. And last, cash billing. Then the final step of the revenue cycle is receiving payments, where
The party who carries out this activity is the carries. The revenue cycle in this case is a series of information processing activities and business activities, which include the distribution of instant noodles to customer or consumer, which then generates cash as a means of payment from the sellers of the instant noodles. Okay, thank you.
So that is the few cycles that uses in the PT INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR. So in conclusion is PT INDOFOOD as a leading instant noodle processing company in Indonesia has a neat and orderly work system. PT INDOFOOD also has a good accounting information in running its business. It is clear that this company carries out well every activity that is directly related to the product and which is not. It can be seen from the start of the shopping and production cycle. PT INDOFOOD has a clear source of where each of the ingredients to be processed comes from. Then move on to the production process that seems detailed and orderly, which keeps the resulting product of good quality. Each part that carries out this production activity also has clear rules in knowing what quality is and what rules must be observed. The company also controls two aspects that are not directly related to the product, such as organizational structure and internal audit. Monitor each organizational structure performance in order to carry out tasks in accordance with established rules and prepare internal audits to monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of the system being implemented in accordance with existing procedures. Each part works together in carrying out its duties so that there is an orderly performance. So as we know that PT INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR has a really good accounting information system in its accounting system and uses a really detailed and ordered cycles in every activities of their aspect in business. So that is all from our presentation for today about PT INDOFOOD CBP SUKSES MAKMUR. I hope this information helps a lot to help you understand about the cycles and accounting system information. So that is all. If there are any mistakes, I would like to say sorry. Thank you. Thank you for the attention and good afternoon. Good morning.